grams. K-Cello. R.I.P. the WAP. I miss you, my nigga.
Okay, I'm feeling good on a bad day. Put the phone in the gas tank. How much more can a man take? I'm pussy deep like a bad cake. Pull your bitch on a bad day. Put the ash in the ashtray. Hit the hole like a lottery. Stole a heart like a robbery. Dope deal with a side fee. As a young nigga, saw a lot of things. In the trap with a dime piece. Hot blocks with a devil be. Told my nigga I'll never leave. Coke rush, I'll never sleep. Street life, the street life made 2 grams, but that's like a thief in the night. We got lost in the street lights, 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 lost in the. We in the club all night. Yeah. We got lost in the street lights. Where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I start? Meditate, then I gather my thoughts. It was all a lie, even though they act like it's a walk in the park. Fell in love with the streets, I gave her my heart, she tore it apart. The minute you fall, who can you trust? Really nobody at all, that you could depend on your dog. You hit him collect to get you a check, he won't even answer your call. Remember when y'all were getting shut up, blowing Cuban cigars, switching lanes in them foreign cars, fucking bitches digging only walls in the club, feeling like you a god. Ha! But really though, we were just young niggas lost, with dreams of copping a Porsche. Get money, fuck women and floss, breaking laws of all sorts, living life without cause. A few of us here to reminisce, but most of the clique is gone. We never knew that the revenue wouldn't compensate for our flaws. So what do you do to cope? Nobody you know feels hope. So we OD'd on the weed smoke and the codeine, cause we need hope. We OD'd on the weed smoke and the codeine, cause we need hope. Like a thief in the night. We got lost in the street lights, 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 lost in the. We in the club all night. We got lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights.
Yeah, you already know the vibes. You rockin' 7 grams, baby. Turn up. Let's go.
Mother sunrise.
Look, amen like church. Nigga came from the block. I was raised from the dirt. Mother, son, mother, earth. On the phone we talk. Showed her all my scars. Bullet wounds to the heart. She placed a hand on my back. She said, calm, my love. Then she healed my scars. Come closer, my love. We could just chill and talk. I see space to trust. You'll be my only one. You'll be my only love. I saw her rise like the sun. I fell in love with her golden locks. We talked on the phone for hours. And her smile was like the perfect flower. I could just stare at her for hours. The radiant one, my mother's middle son. Mother sunrise has begun to gather the people. Her voice loud like an African drum, but still calm like a whisper. I drank her essence, a perfect elixir. Now let's dance to the rhythm. But see, the truth was always forbidden, and black love it was not permitted. Now come, just follow me, come heal with me. Let's escape the system. This is not living. See, we so quick to judge and easy to hurt. Now who hit harder and who hit first? See, we need H in love, unconditional love. See the pain, see that what changed us, turned us into distant strangers. See, we need
This is another NAGA's radio station promotion. You already know the vibes. And I introduce you to my brother, Middle Eye, who gonna bring you some of that powerful knowledge and spoken word affirmation. Get familiar, link on the page. You already know the vibes. NAGA. This is another NAGA's radio station promotion. You already know the vibes. And I introduce you to my brother, Middle Eye, who gonna bring you some of that powerful knowledge and spoken word affirmation. Get familiar, link on the page. You already know the vibes. NAGA. My mind was gone. I was sitting here looking at something, and I let the advertisement stop or whatever. All right. So you see in the title what it is and what you want it to be. You know, a lot of people like to say, and I've even caught myself saying this too. I've caught myself saying, I've said this first. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, the ego is assertment into the reality of being, right? So the ego is the expression. It's the expression of the physical life, you know what I'm saying, in all its majesty. That's what the ego is. Why it's so hard to separate from it. Even when you think you separated from it, you really haven't. It's not a such thing as dump the ego. You know what I'm saying? This is the reality that I've come to. There's not a such thing as dump the ego. And because you're in life itself, the ego is always going to be a part of you. You might be able to turn it down or act like you're turning it down or something, but just your expression of being in life is ego. Okay. Secondly, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Well, that's all right for right now. Okay, so this knowledge has always been around. It's a particular frequency, right? So and I always speak to how these things are being shown to you in a particular way. How certain people are able to devise the way they can simply put themselves in it. And that's ego. It's only ego. Like ultimately, I think that it's like unbeknownst to certain people. If anybody, one of the people I want to talk to, I would like to sit down and have a conversation with and actually learn from and expound on certain things that I know is Brother Panic. So if anybody sees my videos and you think you can get in touch with Brother Panic and tell them that, yo, Naga want to sit down and talk with them. You know what I'm saying? Make that happen for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I can expound on some things in a certain aspect. Now, ultimately, with that being said, I don't think that we are completely realizing what the frequencies entail and going all the way to the complete ending of the physical attribute of these things, because we're always dealing with the verbal aspect, like the reading, and the tangible knowledge aspects, like the thinking part. You know what I'm saying? Like that's still one hemispheric. You know what I mean? Like, and actually to merge the two vibrations, the two frequencies, the negative and the positive frequency that come to the universe, it automatically makes the key. And the key unlocks the value of the secret wisdom that is spoken by the divine that you won't get, because in the universe, it's split and it manifests here as together. So a split in the universe manifests as togetherness here. This is why people who are together are confused with two hemispheres. So it's the same thing as in the universe. You know what I'm saying? The universe has two separate hemispheres, two separate frequencies. I'm sorry. Two separate frequencies that exist separately. And they exist separately because the way they come about, like they spark out of two separate actions, but they speak the high divine concepts. This is why we have this duality within us. You know what I'm saying? Just the retrospect of that in itself speaks to a whole nother understanding. But this is why you fight yourself. This is why you fight good, bad, up, down, left, right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is why you even look at these particular concepts, and ultimately you side with the value of solidifying personal reference or retrospects to your connection to these frequencies by saying, i.e., I discover, or I have enlightened the value. But how would you gain profit if that was the fact? You're not a prophet. You only gain profit. Profit is gain in frequency. That's because you a particular frequency at a particular time that formed a key inside your mind that allowed you to lock an understanding. You're not even seeing the key being formed. This is called master forgers. This is the master forgers of the frequencies. You don't see this. You have to understand that this is existing. These are realms that exist within the concept of consciousness. So in order to even get into the Akashic records of the library, you have to be ushered in by the librarian. And before you even get to the librarian, you have to go through, you have to get to the mystery school. That's why you need books. So you get to the mystery school and you're initiated in. This is all conscious. Once you come in through the mystery school, you're assigned to a room. I'm telling you some real, you could take what I'm saying lightly, you could take it physically. I'm telling you, this is real. What I'm telling you is actuality. Now you see it or not, whether you've been there or not, this is real. When you get to the mystery school, they're going to assign you to a room. It's going to be particular frequencies that's happening right in front of you in the class. You're going to have a teacher that's going to be in a robe. He's going to be big. And you're going to have different types of beings that's around you that's also going to be in the class. They ain't not going to be from where you at, though. They might be from where you at, but a different time and space. I've seen different beings, had conversations, and we all did the same thing, smoke bud and play games. Real rap. You know what I'm saying? I even had a beef with a female, like when I first got there, like some wordplay, and they wanted to see how I was going to respond to it. All these things was frequencies. It was showing me different particular frequencies that manifest in a different way here on this plane. And I had to be mindful of that when I went into the class. Like, this was the fire part. You actually manifest into the mystery school. You see where you at. Everything that's laid around you is a particular frequency. You begin in class as soon as you come in there. And then after you see your lesson that you're going through, the way you move through that is wisdom. So as you moving through your class, you get assigned a room. You get assigned a room. And then when you go into that room, you see, like, my room was dark. It wasn't like all the way dark. It had like a TV in there, like a little small dim light. You know what I'm saying? I had a bed in there. I had places for me to put my stuff. It was set up the way I would feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I went and put my stuff in the room, and people was trying to come in my room. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, chill, let me put my stuff up first. And then when I came out the room, I was able, it was like a window above the TV where we was playing the game at. We all rose to this window and looked out, and it was like different beings out there, and it was like ushering somebody else in. Somebody else was out the window. You know what I'm saying? They was actually going through a ceremony, because this was the whole university. So you can see in the ceremony how it was dealing with something with water. You know what I'm saying? They was going through their own little ceremony. The people was in white. They was dressed, but they was different beings. You know what I'm saying? Like, So I ain't gonna hold on to this too much, but once you come out of that, understanding, it unlocks another key inside you to where you start doing things, and it keeps going. These frequencies are not particularly you doing anything. You're not discovering nothing. You're not saying it first. This is just you going through the class of the spirituality, because ultimately there's a destiny for you. So, you know what I'm saying? If you can understand that in itself, then you know you was already signed up for school. That speaks to a different value. So a lot of the people out here, you want to call yourself scholars. This ain't a shot at your neck, but I'm telling you some real shit. The Egyptians, they're not going to really feel too, or the ancient Egyptians, they're not going to feel too happy about you not really getting it, because it's like you wasting the concept of the reality. You know what I'm saying? That's energy in itself. You know what I mean? So then you want to ask yourself why things haven't really moved further enough in the culture. It's because you ain't get it yet. You still talking about it's yours. That's ego. And you know how I know this? Even the brother was like, simultaneously we fall back into the physicality of the world, but by deciding how we handle circumstances, how you get emotional to certain things. It's a whole bunch of levels to that, though. It's not just that. It's like so many levels to trip into to be physical. You don't know. Do you understand what ego is? It's so many expressions. It's not just expressions. It's also soft, slight expressions to being a human. To understand that in its own retrospect is intel. You got to have intel. You got to be all the way in depth with how the light works. This is why you focusing on the light. So ultimately, I'm listening to your conversation and I'm hearing it and I'm like, yeah, you saying that, but you still doing that. You don't hear yourself doing that. I hear you doing that because you're not focusing on 100% of the light. It sounds good to say that. That's how I know. And it's not to say you dropped the ball or y'all dropped the ball at that time. This is to say y'all didn't finish. I'm telling you because I know I jump classes in the spiritual realm. I jump classes, and this ain't no bull crap. You can go meditate on that. Ask whatever you want to believe. They're gonna tell you that dude right there skipped school. He was skipping classes because of what he do. I didn't create anything. I knew the frequency. I became Silver Surfer. I was riding the waves. It was simple because that's who he is. When you understand what you're doing, you ain't part of egotistical value of ownership first, second. You ain't heard the song? Go back to listen to my Jones while it's the Universal Superhero. It's on the radio station. Universal Superhero, the title of the track for me. Vortex Gravitation is Universal Tractor Beam. Prominent, dominant, all around more. Kundalini spinning up my spine, twisting like a cipher. Hit a solar flare, this is my universal fire. What? What? Go listen to the track. Go listen to the track, yo. I'm telling you, it's not about you being the one to discover nothing. Every sediment is a partial failure to a situation because it can grow into a vibrational frequency in the opposite direction. I spoke to this and showed you this in incremental science. When the lights try to turn sideways, you can't turn sideways. You start blocking other lights. So you can't do that. You have to be so particular with your understanding. This is why you only get to a certain level and then it turns to babble. And you sitting there like, nah, I understand, I vibe. Yeah, you feel it and you understand it, but you're not going nowhere with it. They're gonna stay light from around me. I already know my Joan not gonna multiply to 100,000. I know it's not because it's not for everybody. The cells, the keys won't unlock. It's like your keyhole fused. I'm like the key maker. I got a whole bunch of keys. I know how to go in and out of these Jones. And I'll be like, yo, I was scared in the beginning, like, yo, I don't know what that is, right? You know what I'm saying? But holding ownership to it was the indifference. It's the ego value. Like every time we sit down and we be like, yo, I, me. Why do you think that was even given to you from the perception, the I? Because it was to solidify self personification. It was to solidify that. The ultimate destruction of the understanding of humanity in this connection is the fact to want to solidify your connection to the value. If you dropping seeds, knowing that the sustainability from the earth gonna do the rest. So does the farmer come back and say, yo, give me my plant back? Or yo, I did that. Who told the farmer to plant? See what I'm saying? The information precedes the information. And this is why I was showing you the pictures earlier. Behind each deity is another deity. So this is the key, the phallus in the mind being the key, unlocking different values. When did you start anything? When was you the first to release anything? How are you the one to progenerate anything? How do you have this is the actual test. They test you every day in values to the attention of what you want to obtain, i.e. even if it's to detriment or to great value. They test you because you have a light life inside of you. That is really what you are. That light is feeding information through the incremental pores in your body, making you move. That is Geppetto. Pinocchio, this is why you lie. Lay, this is why you lie, because you don't speak the universal electricity that's coming out you. The conversation of the light life that's inside of you does not manifest this way. I can correlate this value to you because this is the words we lie with. I'm not lying to you because we both speak the same language. The lie is the explanation from the light manifesting this value. This is why you stay still. So therefore you can speak clearly. Ultimately, as you go through a conversation, you start to grab value egotistical. This is the light manifesting through the flesh. It's the fight. It's the yin and the yang. As soon as it feels good that you've spoken and somebody responds to that, you feel that the way you absorb that is ego. This is why you shall humble thyself or be humbled. Are you humbling? How do you carry this particular energy and understanding the perplexity that the fact that this is a key connection? This doesn't personify the value of one being divine. This connects the value of one's connection through frequency. These are the waves, baby. Each wave has a cup. It sits in existence. Waves over, waves over, waves over. It goes up and down. It's showing you that in its motion. There is no ownership. There is no control. That is life. That is the controlling box. Once then one is free from that, trying to obtain a structure that ain't even your existence, you are free to access the Akashics. You then start to understand and comprehend the light story, not his H-I-S connection, H being Hugh, I C, the connection, the wisdom in between. They just changed the letters around. That's why it's his. His, to be a he, would personify being physical. So when they talk to these values, you got mixed up in that concept to say, well, what about my story? You ain't even physical. But manifestation and the knowledge brought you to the understanding that light was contained in sun. See, that's why you see sun, be like, yo, that's my sun right there. That's mathematics. We be like, yo, look at sun. Why you call me sun? Because you shine like one. What does that even mean? The glow, baby. Last dragon, I got that glow. Your body move, I got that flow. Can you feel it all? Yeah, exactly. It was funny. They played with it in different ways, but this is the frequency speaking out. It's yelling. It's screaming. It's screaming. And we take it because through the way it manifests through the universe and then ends up here, we particularly start to grab to ownership because it's ego. You heard me in the I did the spoken word joint, the ego, he go, what you think, the ego. This is real. This is the existence. Every physical connection that you grab to manifest that in your own particular right speaks to your human existence. Why you think the spirit of the negative energy manifested ownership or tried to take value of divine? This is why y'all call the woman God. We in the same boat. You call the woman God because of the principle. She took on the value in the physical. We gods by light concept. This ain't got nothing to do with your physical. If it was up to your physical, you wouldn't be oppressed. This is degradation. It's a breakdown. It's a breakdown for what? For you to express and expound on the light that's giving you to even be in these perceptions of what they want to call existence. But you're not going to see that. So every time each level grabs ownership, the light life leaves. They go back to learn that everything they did didn't matter. And the only thing you did was tote life with you. You toted ego with you through the whole existence when in fact you were supposed to grow the light. So then they tell you it's weighed against a feather. Don't let that fly over your head. It's weighed against a feather. Your heart or the light life? Is that light inside of you so angry right now that it's holding on to everything that ever happened to it? Is it yelling at the universe about physical things? Is it saying, I'm just so, this life, you're not helping me. Why you let me go through this stuff? And the universe is like, the fuck you talking about? They don't care about me. I don't care about God. This is my universe. Like, the fuck you talking about? And the feather's so light, and you are so heavy as light. A light that's heavy. Dirt in the refraction. If I burn plastic on a light bulb, it has gained weight. It's melted. These things are melting on your light. They're making your light dirty. And you still have access to talk, but you think those words are worthy to speak to the universe. One energy that's passing through just to become true in another verse. You still want ownership. You still want control. You want to feel better. You feel better by connecting to what you are. You are the light. You should be better in every circumstance. You should be happy in every circumstance, even when the circumstances are not substantial to the flesh. This is appreciation. How much do you revel in the fact of the light, or do you revel in the fact of existence? Do you say, I'm happy because I woke up? Or do you say you're happy because you have life? The concepts of the reality always been to the fact of what you think you believe to what it's supposed to be. What it is and what you want it to be is two different understandings. This is always going to be the criteria of detriment. This is always going to be what you fight. You're going to always struggle to maintain values of physical circumstances. You're going to always make your priority a physical retrospect. You're going to always say, physically, I have to maintain these things. And the light is like, well, I have a better plan. And you're like, well, you're not going to move in a timely fashion that I want you to. So then you're not gonna respond to the light in some retrospect. You're always gonna try to have the what they call the slash representation. You're gonna have this side of thinking, and you're gonna try to take from that side to make this side better. That's never gonna work. The flesh is a viewer system. It's like saying it's your ship. It's a viewer system. You look through this, you feel through this, but only with the knowledge of the light that is inside of this viewership. Now, if you can look at it from that aspect, then what particularly happens is you gain strength as far as your conscious awareness and your surroundings, because now you're not particularly trying to obtain the physical feelings as you're not trying to forcify or obtain the physical feelings as if they are the main subsequent value of the existence. What you're doing is you're allowing the light to guide you through these feelings and connect them correctly. So therefore, you end up, you learn patience with yourself. You learn the love with yourself. You learn the understanding with yourself. And you start to see how the incremental value is slowly moving you through the wreckage. You're not just running into walls or knocking stuff down and trash is falling on you. You're moving around it. You're finding the ways through on the lowest level of chaos. And this right here is speaking to the start where you were born into wisdom, into ultimate wisdom, meaning you're going to go to a point to where the pendulum that is tied to the wall, which is life. You have to go through that to create true wisdom. Once you go through that to create true wisdom and you get to the end, the pendulum is released. And now you become the divine being opposite of the value of humanity. You cannot speak to these things as if it's ownership, but also knowing that this fraction is being divided by the concept of the reality of divinity. This is the ultimate point. So then we concept the falsity, and then we get lost in some place. We say, I did this. Remember when we used to. It's like trying to hold on to a particular part of time when you are fluid. Your existence is fluid. You are swift and changeable, never remainable, but always the same, though. This is apart, but non-apart. The gateless gate. You go in and out. You are witnessing the value. You are the wisdom. This is the manifestation of knowing. So as you go through this existence, you are knowing everything around it as you move through it. I'm not touching none of it. I'm not getting mixed in it. But subsequently, what happens is one becomes a part of the system, thinking that if I grab this with it, if I take this with it, I'll gain some extra. I can help myself move through this a little better. No, you can't. Those are blockages. This comes from the time spent in the darkness. This is why the protection is needed. The light on the bottom of your hand symbolizes the light reflection. So then if I'm holding this with light hands inside of me, then the light, that's reflection, reflects back. So that hold in itself is containing. This is literal. This is why inside of yourself, you be still. You're not connected to none of this, even though you can tap into it. It should be freeing to you to not want to have ownership to be the one to generate this particular knowledge. It should be liberating for you that you are able to reach your hands in the ether and pull it down and have the opportunity to speak to the people as a speaker. But no, you simultaneously in the same breath take ownership and then digress yourself back into humanity. It felt good to touch the internet. How those days go by so fast. And then they give you terms like has been, I used to, we was. You got to keep going. And you can't own none of that. My homeboy was playing some music for me that I did years ago. I ain't even know it was me. I'm like, yo, that John fire. Who that? He like, yo, you remember me doing? Like, nah, yo, that's crazy. Because I been let it go. I let it go for more new. Anew. We speak to these principles because that is our particular value. We rise. And whatever that frequency sounds like, we rise. But I understand and understand the particular value how one sets the mind to be attached. How little do we know is the attachment doesn't separate you from the value of the connections of motion. We're always in motion. So as the light moves through the crevices and the cracks and creates wisdom by knowing and moving through to get to the point of existence when the pendulum is released and life changes for that value. We are supposed to be aware of the motion that we're going through. This is the watcher. This is you watching everything that you had to go through to get to. This is you being mindful of the wisdom that you are creating by alleviating the connection. How easy did you move through the non-physical? Or did you reach to obtain more of that? That spoke to two different values. Being taken by the dark and creating wisdom in the dark. You can have it coalesce around you and have it all. Or you can move through it and keep going and experience more. These are the essences of what life has in store. But you'll get lost and you'll get confused. You'll get stopped right at the door. Soon as you start to misuse or not understand the cues, you think you brought this. You thought you were the law. The storyteller, the story bearer, the one that explained it, the one that manifests the knowledge, the one that remaineth, the strongest being. Hey, look at me. I told you first. Remember when I talked to this knowledge, your brain dispersed. It was me, the ego, the one that solidified helping you stay human. So then now you remember that feeling that he gave off of that electricity feeling coming out of his mouth, his eyes, his face changing. You see the expression. So what was remaining was the light burning out of him and imprinting in you, imprinting that image of him as he manifested ego. You became addicted to that value, and that value became the addiction of the value. So now you held on to life too. I search to show you that I'll be as great in this physical too. Watch me create. Look what I did. Look what I did. Me too. I'm great. Look how much of them look at my face as I walk past, shining low, old and grown, still looking like you don't know where you're home. I just float past. You give me a glance, a look, and like, I know that, but back to this. Why are you focusing on the passing? You know that shining. I'm just reminding. Take a light, a match, stalk that, spark that. Put a flame back. Because I don't think you remember. I don't think you know that you was a main contender. I don't think you can see from the placenta. I don't think you remember. Get lost in this walk. You still like to talk. You still garner the ego. Yes, 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 raw. And everybody cheers you on. A whole crowd of those, eh? Divine and saddened by the ones who will be lost today. Lack of knowledge of self. Wanting to be a part of something that didn't correct you or connect you or project you just to be what you thought you was. So you fought for that. You destroyed your own people, even killed light that was given by the divine that gave you purpose, lost your motherfucking mind. But yeah, though, I understand. I can dig it. It feels better. Everybody's in it. They like, yo, if you ain't spitting it, then who did it? I'm telling you, it was already here, but you aware, no, unless there, nah, you didn't come prepared or prepared. You didn't have on underwear or your drawers was dirty. Your grandma told you about that first, but you didn't care. Shitty drawers. You still talking all that bullshit. Yeah, I heard it all. every single hustle. Don't give a hustler 5 minutes, they'll take it all. They'll look at you like, yeah, you the grace, before they give you the fall. You don't see the fall. The fall is always back to ego, because as soon as I plant that seed in you, now you'll fight for it too. It's called indoctrination on all its levels. They just learn from you. So it sounds good to talk all that fly. Yeah, I got this, I got it, I brought this, Why you making everything that you connected to die. See, because we supposed to be being born right now. You know, knowledge, wisdom, be born. It's the time we in. Because knowing's supposed to solidify what you thought you knew to the truth, right? That's how we going in this particular motion. So then everything's supposed to be easy to put down. So therefore you can gain your crown and understand that's what you came through. So now knowledge is wisdom bound. It kind of goes over people's heads. And I know we want to solidify, but how you solidify when you've already been hella high? Like you're just not here. Your spirit is looking down, watching you commandeer while you're not even a part of the ground. But this is what happens when the seed makes its home and thinks that everything around it is the same as it. But the seed has to ground and push out of the ground and push up out of the ground until you can see that it ain't the same shit. You just see the ground move until a piece of green starts shining, absorbing that sun real quick. Where is it going? What's its direction? It's looking for a connection. So how did it start anything if you still trying to connect Wi-Fi signal? What did you start? What did you do first? You was just born here and picked up the frequency. So stop lying to these people. It's all funny. When it's funny, it's all jokes when it's jokes. But when you go back into the cipher and you cry in your throat, you get that knot right there when you was a kid and don't even know, sitting there wonder why you fighting, but you stopping the flow. Yeah, they know. Divine them, dude. They watch everything. They be like, yeah, true. That's why you dudes be coming back doing the same doo-doo. Trying to fight, understanding how the true to, you don't understand. But it's you. Crack open a you-hoo. Sit back and chill. Still, it's your will. You do what you want, however you feel. But those will be the lessons. Stream got cut, huh? There it go. It came back. Somebody messing with the streams. Okay. It's always something, right? That's all I'm saying, yo. Like, it's either you fight for the light or you speak with the power of the light to keep you in life. We are divine beings in all places at one time. This is melanin shine. So the merge of that is king refined. Naga. I'm gonna do that. Might do that same. Drop some of that fire on y'all.
7 grams. K-Cello. R.I.P. the WAP. I miss you, my nigga.
Okay, I'm feeling good on a bad day. Put the phone in the gas tank. How much more can a man take? I'm pussy deep like a bad cake. Pull your bitch on a bad day. Put the ash in the ashtray. Hit the hole like a lottery. Stole a heart like a robbery. Dope deal with a side fee. As a young nigga, saw a lot of things. In the trap with a dime piece. Hot blocks with a devil be. Told my nigga I'll never leave. Coke rush, I'll never sleep. Street life, the street life made 2 grams, but that's life. Beef in the night. We got lost in the street lights, 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 lost in the. We in the club all night.
Yeah.
We got lost in the street lights.
Where do I start? Where do I start? Check it. Where do I start? Meditate, then I gather my thoughts. It was all a lie, even though they act like it's a walk in the park. Fell in love with the streets, I gave her my heart, she tore it apart. The minute you fall, who can you trust? Really nobody at all. That you could depend on your dog. You hit him collect to get you a check, he won't even answer your call. Remember when y'all were getting shut up, blowing Cuban cigars, switching lanes in them foreign cars, fucking bitches digging only walls in the club, feeling like you a god. Ha! But really though, we were just young niggas lost, with dreams of copping a Porsche. Get money, fuck women and floss, breaking laws of all sorts, living life without cause. A few of us here to reminisce, but most of the clique is gone. We never knew that the revenue wouldn't compensate for our flaws. So what do you do to cope? Nobody you know feels hope. So we OD'd on the weed smoke and the codeine, cause we need hope. We OD'd on the weed smoke and the codeine, cause we need hope.
I'm like a thief in the night. We got lost in the street lights, 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 lost in the. We in the club all night. We got lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights, lost in the street lights.
$7 grams. Holla at me.